Good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers. You'll be able to hear me and see me clearly right now. Yes, I think you're able to hear me, Shamila ma'am. Thank you so much for joining on another Super Sunday workshop. We are going to get into the world of different curriculums and boards in few Sundays. And today I wanted to actually talk about ICSE as one of the important topics. Looking at the board exams coming around the corner, last week we got into the details of CBSE pattern and some information about the subjects choice and all those things. Now, similarly, there were a lot of reflection forms mentioning that let's have a little bit of highlight on board exam pattern for ICSE as well. So let us try to understand first of all what exactly ICSE as a curriculum is, ICSE as a board is. This session is going to be purely from an exposure perspective to all the teachers out there. It doesn't matter if you're there working as a teacher in a CBSE school or an IGCSE school or an IB school. What really matters is the kind of exposure that we have to understand the different boards that are present in India. It's always a quite a dilemma when we try to understand which board should I actually admit a child into. Now, as a teacher, you might be able to decide that pretty simple by looking at the data, statistics, or talking to the friends. But when it comes to your own child, like where should I actually admit? How much ever you are experienced, there's always a little bit of dilemma. Should I get into CBSE school or an ICC school? First of all, before actually getting into the details of ICC board as such, I would like to very clearly underline and highlight the fact that it doesn't matter which board a particular child is actually studying into. What really matters is the way the board is taken into consideration. It's about the execution, it's about the implementation. If a school is really renowned for various reasons, that means the implementation is happening properly. And if implementation is happening properly, uh, and if the students are really able to show some good learning outcomes out there, that itself is sufficient for Indian scenario for the students to really shine in their future in their career aspects. But there are times when the parents already envision that my child has to go abroad and do his undergraduation. My child has to go abroad and do his post graduation and get into this particular field. If there are ambitious parents outside, ambitious students outside who really plan their life probably in grade 6 and 7 itself, then you can have a clear picture of deciding which curriculum to be adopted. For example, if you really want to go abroad, it's about checking which are the universities that are present outside which will accept your board. For example, if I write my 12th standard exam in CBSE and I apply for an university which is present in a European nation, they say that your marks are good, but probably we can't take it. You need to write an additional exam in order to clear our university standards. But suppose if I have written a 12th standard board exam and say I have completed through IB, International Baccalaureate Curriculum. We'll talk about that also in some other session about IB. But if I complete it in International Baccalaureate Curriculum, then you don't need to really write an additional exam in major universities that are present abroad, because that score itself is sufficient for them to judge the students if they are fit for that particular university. Hence, the board exams or the board that we are studying for is determined, the choice is determined based on the future aspects and prospects. So it's like I want to get into an IIT. I want to study in an IIT college, and that's really a good college. And I want to prepare for IIT entrance exams. And if that is the case, people think that CBSE is a good curriculum. Why? Because it has got all the chapters, necessary skill sets covered under that particular curriculum. Similarly, if I have to get into very good exams like say NEET exams, or I really need a depth of knowledge in all these concepts of physics, chemistry, maths, and biology, then probably it will definitely be helpful to IIT as well. But exams like AIEEE, then NEET, and then there are various other competitive exams which are conducted by private institutions and universities, where they find that ICSE syllabus is more appropriate. But if you look into the syllabus of ICSE and CBSE in particular, the syllabus difference is very, very less. It's hardly any change actually to be looked from a bird's eye view. But what really matters is it's about the depth of knowledge. For example, in layman's term, in a CBSE NCRT book, a chapter gets covered probably in 30 pages, probably 20 pages approximately. In case of an ICSE curriculum, probably I have 40 pages or 45 pages. That's it. And one more important aspect over here is for CBSE board, We have a proper textbook, a publication body called as NCRT, who write the textbooks for us. But for ICSE, they don't have. They just mention the syllabus on the website, and based on that, there are various publishers out there who write their own books. I think you know that. Some of you must be using this publication called as Selena Publications. It's quite famous. Oswald is quite famous in case of ICSE. Depending on the subjects, a teacher gets to choose, or they have a choice of which publication has to be taken. So, considering various factors of future and the present and the past, a curriculum or a board is decided by a particular student. Now, what are these factors is something it's quite explorative all the time. Some people say that CBSE does not give a lot of importance to sports, but ICSE does that. Hence, I prefer ICSE because ICSE has got dedicated sports area. But that's there in CBSE as well. So it's all about the amount of research, it's all about the exploration that we do, and there is no point in discussing which is superior and which is inferior. There's nothing like that actually. Let us consider the IGCSE and even IB for that matter. We as a teacher, at least, we are not get supposed to get into the shoes of comparing which is superior and inferior. Yes, based on our requirement, there are certain parameters with which we decide on which has to be taken up for the school or for the student, but not from the point of superiority or inferiority. That's something that I would like to tell. Now, mainly I'm focusing on this particular point right now is because when I was researching on ICSE board, there were many YouTube videos which were like making fun of an ICSE curriculum or making fun of CBSE curriculum in a very nice manner. That was quite humorous. Something to be enjoyed about. It's completely fine with it, but not to be taken seriously. It's just for purely fun and humor. So this is something that I would like to highlight and underline right in the beginning itself. And let's continue with what exactly ICSE is all about. This session is going to be more of an awareness on ICSE board. So there's no point in asking any questions on the full form of ICSE and in the reflection form. During the session, we will have it, but in the reflection form. Hence, today's reflection form will be just on getting the data to give you the certificates. That's it. So don't worry about the questions. And let me quickly share my screen and ask you the first question. So basically, ICC arranged this event called as the 66th annual conference. So every year this conference happens, and you know what? It always happens in the third Wednesday of November. I'll repeat it. It always happens in the third Wednesday of the month of November. I think the teachers who are from ICSE, you know that. And if there are some principals from ICSE school present right now, I think you might know about it. Unfortunately, this year, the third week of November 2023, basically, there were elections happening in Telangana, and the event was decided to happen in Telangana, and the host school was St. Joseph Schools in Hapsiguda. So, and because of the elections, it had postponed to January, and I was lucky and fortunate to attend the event 66th conference. So whatever I'm speaking is directly from the information that was spoken during the event and also from the CISE website. Now, what exactly are we talking about? Let's get into. First of all, do not actually Google about it. You need to tell me the right answer. What is ICSE from full form perspective? Is it Indian Council for Secondary Education? Is it International Council for Secondary Education? Is it Indian Certificate of Secondary Education, or it is International Certificate of Secondary Education? You can please put it on the chat, teachers. What? Okay, Malvika ma'am says that you're not able to see the screen. Yeah, D, B, A, B. Okay, there are multiple people coming up with multiple alphabets out there. Come on. Okay, now you'll be surprised. Now, this is the major misconception that generally people have about ICSE. I told about inferiority and superiority, right? Even a parent in my apartment came and suggested me and said that, this particular curriculum is really good because it's meeting some international standards and things like that. So here I'm getting almost all the alphabets. Malvika ma'am, I request you to please, rejoin if possible because screen is visible to other people. And here in this case, everybody's saying C, some people say A. Oh, that's great. Thank you. B. Okay. Okay. Imlita ma'am, B. Kranti sir, B. Okay. That's interesting. Now here in this case, this is the first thing, and Tina ma'am says it's C. Okay. Sonia ma'am says it's C. Now you can actually Google about it in case if it's possible, and you can check if your answer is correct or not. So everyone who said the answer to be A, B, and D are wrong. C is the correct answer. It's the Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. And this particular board, it's actually an examination body. I'll repeat it. CBSE is not a print media. It does not provide the textbooks. It is a board that conducts the exam. There are multiple boards which conducts the exam in India, including competitive exams. For example, JEE, it's joint entrance exam. It's a board who conduct an exam called as JEE, and that particular exam is considered for admissions for IIT colleges or even other colleges for that matter, if you know that. Common entrance tests conducted by various states. So CET is a body over there which is conducting an exam for various states. The point here is board is different, and the people running the board is different. So the people who are running ICSE is more like the council, and that's the reason we get confused with these terminologies. So the right answer over here is uh, Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. And whatever I'm going to talk about, it's there in the website as well. I'll show that. So one of the major misconceptions is, remember, this is not international. There are more countries where CBSE is present than ICSE. Can you roughly guess how many ICSE schools are there in India? Could you put it on the chat, please? Come on, give an attempt. Okay, just a simple attempt. How many ICSE schools are present in India? Approximately, you can put it on the chat and try not to Google this. Just an estimate about our mindset. 1 lakh schools. Okay, I get that. Okay, okay. Vinudha ma'am says 100 plus. Okay, okay. 500 to 1000. Arpita ma'am says 2500. Mala ma'am says 1000. Pushpalata ma'am says 68 schools. Come on, go ahead, go ahead. Come on, come up with some numbers. 250 plus. Sanjay 1100. Okay, that's fantastic. Ruchika ma'am 2300. Okay. So that ma'am 4000. That's great. Fantastic. So everybody's coming up with a number that has not so far exceeded the actual number. So that's pretty good. Divya ma'am, you're very close. Okay, Rudra ma'am, you're very close. The right answer over here is there are approximately 2,900 schools, and it's counting more. Whatever I'm saying, it's like as on 24th January 2024. It's like by that time there were 2,901 schools exactly, and I got to know about this information from the event. And 2901, and it is still counting. So suppose in one of you over here, Rabia ma'am or Chatterjee ma'am or Sharda ma'am or Seema ma'am, in case if you plan to start a school and you want to affiliate it, so you can affiliate it to certain body or certain board. It could be CBSE, ICSE, or any other board for that matter. Only then your students are going to be recognized after writing the 10th exam or 12th exam to be admitted to higher education. So these boards govern the standards of a particular country or of a particular student. Now, in that way, if you want to start your school and want to get affiliated, so the right answer is 3,000 approximately, 2,900 to be very precise. Subhash sir, it's not 360. Now, here in this case, when we talk about the affiliation, the process of affiliation for CBSE, there are certain steps. On a similar note, even for ICSE, you can get yourself affiliated. Now comes an interesting part. When we talk about affiliation, we think that ICSE council or there are some members who are governing it, some council members are there who are doing it. But actually, it has got a very interesting history. In the past, there were various type of schools who were wanting to have their own syllabus. So it's just like when multiple states came together and they said that I'm not able to understand what's happening in Gujarat, but I'm from Maharashtra. I'm from Telangana, but I want to know about Punjab. I want to know about Madhya Pradesh. Where can I learn that? So when there was state board syllabus talking about their topographical influences in the textbook, there was a very high requirement of students to know about what's happening in the other states. That's how central board got formed in the first place. So it's like talk from Indian perspective rather than state perspective. I hope you're getting the connect. And this was heavily dominated on the subject of social science, the most important to know about the people. Hence, that determined board as a whole. But there was some group of people who said that I really like the CBSE board, but I was like, I'm not really comfortable with the number of chapters and the depth of content that's present in CBSE. I would like to have my own board. And they started with that. And once they started with that, there was another school nearby said that, hey, can I also join your board? Really like your content. It's pretty amazing. And they both collaborated. And once they collaborated, they immediately went to the government of India and they said that it's just not one school. There are many other schools who are wanting to join us to follow our syllabus. Could you please recognize me as a very good body for writing the board exams in the future. And that's how multiple schools started getting associated with each other for their own curriculum governed by one body council, which is called as the CISE. I'm going to show that in like very soon. And they came together and they went to the government and they got approved. It's a government recognized body, not a government body, unlike CBSE. And they came up with this idea of ICSE, and they made an exam pattern quite a long time back, which was quite holistic in nature, which was so if you look into the comparison of CBSE and ICSE, today you can find a lot of similarities. They're very close to each other. But back in those days, especially in the year 1960s, there was a drastic difference. ICSE was more on the skill perspective and less on the concept. But over the period of time, they are somewhere very close to each other. In fact, right now, the 11th and 12th syllabus, if you look into the website, they're very, very similar to what CBSE has. So keeping the history in mind, multiple schools started participating and it formed a body. Now the speciality of this particular thing is there were three major bodies who were associated with that. But before going to that particular slide, look into it. CISC has been uh, constituted as to secure suitable representation of government of India. It's a recognized body. State governments, territories in which there are schools affiliated to CISE. That means there are certain schools from government who are associated with ICC syllabus. I'm talking about army public schools as well. The Interstate Board for Anglo-Indian Education. Now, this was the first time just before the independence. Father Frank Anthony was a person who had his own curriculum. He said that for Anglo-Indian students, before the independence, I need to have a special type of schools. And that's how it actually began. Long time back. And then the Association of Indian Universities came into picture, the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools. Then there was a category called as Indian Public Schools Conference. I think you know that. So there are three major categories. The one is the Association of Anglo-Indian Schools. The other is the CISE schools, direct admission to the council. And the third category was Indian public schools. I'll show you the website of all of these things. And the Association of Schools for the ISE examination and members co-opted by the Executive Committee of CISE. So there are multiple bullets over here, but all these things can be categorized into three areas. The first one is ASISE, which is called as Association of Schools for Indian School Certificate. Now, this particular thing, ISC, Indian School Certificate, is a term that's used for 12th standard exam. And the Indian certificate for secondary education is used for 10th standard exam. I hope you got the point. So ICSC and ISC are 10th and 12th. And there is the third exam. Do you know what third exam they do? You can put it on the chat if you know that. And it's quite yes, I'm coming to that, Arpita, ma'am. I'm sorry. The point is absolutely correct. And right after that, ASIAC, let's go with the next one. This is Indian Public Schools, and there are multiple schools associated. Now, Indian public schools, they can follow whatever curriculum they want, but there are majority of schools who are part of who are following ICSE curriculum as well. And then CISC, that's it, Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination. So three major bodies coming together and forming the syllabus. Now, as rightly mentioned by Arpita ma'am as well, initially ICSE was more oriented towards skills and they directly followed something called as Cambridge curriculum. They wanted to have this Cambridge influence in India, and the Indian ethos was present along with the framework of Cambridge. And that's how there was a drastic difference between CBSE and ICC. Over the period of time, it got changed. Too much of Cambridge is not required. We need India as well. Like that, these people thought. CBSE thought too much of Indian context is not required. We need to go a little international. So both probably came together quite close to each other and now very close to each other. Not a major difference. In fact, in this particular conference, which happened 3 days on 23rd, 24th, and 25th, they also clearly mentioned the syllabus is going to get reduced. The syllabus is going to get reduced, and all these syllabus that we're talking about is present in the websites. So the first thing, let's go to the ASISC website to get some more clarity. And I'll tell you one thing, right after NEP 2020 getting launched, NEP is an education policy to be adopted by every education institute in India. It does not matter which board you're following. Hence, ICSE is supposed to follow NEP, which is about competency-based education, skill-oriented questions, following 50 hours of mandatory CPDRs. All these things are coming under NEP policy, like some of the documents out there. And this is supposed to be followed by ICSE as well, and they do that. So the first website about Association of Schools for Indian School Certificate, you can see that you've got the details over here. You can become a member of it. Suppose if you're a member of this, you don't need to apply for the membership of CISE or Indian Public School. Any one you need to be a member for sure. Based on that, the affiliation happens. And then they talk about the members. This is more from governing perspective. Well, Vedanayagam sir was the ex-president. In the 66th conference, Father James became the president. He was promoted to that, and that event happened. Probably it will be updated in the website very soon. And you can see that every year this conference happens, and for 64 years this has been happening. 66 years, I'm sorry. And 66th annual conference. Let me click on the link over here. You'll get some clarity and some pictures out here. So yeah, it was postponed to 22nd to 24th January, and you can get into program schedule. We actually got to meet some very good renowned people. Chief Minister of Telangana was supposed to come, but unfortunately he could not. But many speakers were there, and the complete details are present over here along with the pictures and everything. So this was with respect to ASISC. Let's go back to the presentation where we get into the next website, which is Indian Public School. The moment I click on this, it takes me to Indian Public School category, and here also you can become a member. Now I'll repeat it. You can, if you are Indian Public School, you can be a CBSE school or an ICSE school. So it's like you come under, you have registered under IPS. That's it, Indian Public Schools. And you can see that the moment you click on members, you'll get to see all the schools. You just need to select the state and city, school name. In case if you're a teacher and you do not know which school under it is falling, and if you're following ICC curriculum, it's your task actually to find out where is it actually. Is it part of ASISC, or is it part of CISE, or is it part of IPS? You got the point, right? Anyways, this is with respect to IPS. And finally, coming to the third point, and that is related to Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination, which is CISE. Correct. Yeah. In some schools, you have got the Bengal board as well. Indian public school. You're right. So sometimes some Indian public schools follow the state boards as well. So here comes the actual website. Every time, whenever there's going to be a discussion on ICSE, this particular website has to be checked, which is called as Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination. I'll repeat it. Council for ISCE, not ICSE. ICSE is Indian Certificate. This is Indian School for Secondary Education. Basically, Council for the Indian School Certification Examination, CISCE. I think you got the point. And under this, you have got the affiliation process. The moment you click on it, you'll get to see what are the rules and regulations of it. In fact, ICSE opened a separate office recently in Hyderabad. Basically, this event was an inauguration function of that amazing building. And right now, the head office is present in Saket. I think in New Delhi, Saket, New Delhi, or Noida. I'm forgetting. I'm getting confused. If you know that, you can put on the chat. Saket comes under New Delhi or Noida. Noida, right, Rajni ma'am? Acha, New Delhi. Okay, done. So, yes, Nisha ma'am, there are some schools which accept ICSC universities in various countries out there, but majority don't. So that's the reason, even CBSE for that matter. Yeah. So once you come over here, you get to see the download ICSE affiliation, then the certificate of land. It's a very simple process, and you can get yourself affiliated. I'll tell you something. If anybody is ambitious and want to start a school, getting affiliated in ICSE is quite easy than CBSE. CBSE, I think there are around 35,000 schools right now, and the count is increasing drastically. People are getting affiliated, and CBSE is very, very strict and stringent with the process of affiliation. It has to be, because the number of schools are also increasing, right? So they need to have the strict governance for affiliation as well. But ICSE is looking forward for more schools, hence getting the certificate. Not that just because I'm getting the affiliation in an easy manner, that this does not have standards. Nothing like that. Again, we're not talking about the superiority and inferiority. Just a simple suggestion. In case if you're planning, this is simple. That's it. But yes, you get the information always next to what CBSE does. So that's there. That's there. So this is with respect to affiliation. Let us get into examination. Now this is quite interesting. Look at the beauty. ICSE has been conducting examination for 10th standard, which is called as ICSE, 12th standard, which is called as ISE, and there is this exam called as vocational education. Let me click on that. Certificate for vocational education. and this has been happening since a very long time. So the certificate of vocational education, which is for 12th standard, has been created as an examination in accordance with recommendations of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, which is actually Ministry of Education right now, through the Joint Council of Vocational Education established under the National Policy of Education 1986. Well, this examination can be taken by candidates after a 2-year course of studies beyond the Indian Certificate of Secondary Education. If the students have 5 subjects, probably English, Maths, Physics, Chemistry, and Maths, sorry, Biology, apart from that, they can choose one of the vocational subject. It could be electrical maintenance. In fact, now the vocational studies have become, even more vocational. That means you can immediately get a job. Like the subjects are named as if a data entry operator, a head accountant of a particular institution, then something related to photography, yeah, videographies and photography. All these somewhere like as an exam you can prepare for it for the 2 years and immediately write an exam. So there are 3 exams in ICSE, which are 10th standard, 12th standard, and a vocational exam as well, which is conducted separately during the board exam of 12th standard. So this is with respect to ICSE from examinations point of view. And then comes the next category, which is actually called as research. Now under examination, I'll talk about the board timetable as well. Now under regulations, research, you'll get to see the complete curriculum. Let me just open that. This is going to give you a very good perspective, teachers. uh, where is it? Yeah, here it is. So I come down. So they've got a separate research and development department, which is called as RDCD, the Research Development and Consultancy Division. It was recently created, and they are the ones who actually write the syllabus. So it's a team of esteemed members, and NCRT, NEPA, multiple organizations out there support ICSE to a large extent in developing these documents. In fact, the mandatory CPDRs for teachers is not just applicable for CBSE, it's also applicable for the ICSE people. Now, in this particular case, the only difference is in CBSE, a principal gets to choose which are those trainings that can be selected under the category of CPDRs. But in case of ICSE, that is still possible. A principal can decide, but more importantly, ICSE Council itself has got its own research team who conduct these teacher training programs, and by completing that you can easily take care of the 50 hours of CPD. And more importantly, something really interesting is the Diksha portal training programs, the competency based education, and when you talk about assessments, everything that's present in Diksha, if a teacher is completing those certifications, those can also be considered under the mandatory CPD for ICSE. So ICSE topics are also listed out. The council members, the research team, they also prepare the teacher training program. You can attend that. At the same time, you can also attend the training programs conducted by Government of India and account that for the teacher training program. That would immediately, raise a question. So Super Sunday workshops, we are doing it right now, and it's like the certificates are they valid or not. So for ICSE schools, probably this will not be prioritized. To be honest with you, probably this will not be prioritized, and I'm not very sure about it. You definitely need to ask your principal on that. So as the council is having their own training structures, it's very important for you to participate. In fact, the new office that's opened in Hyderabad is more like a training center, a residential training center. You come to Hyderabad, you go to the Hapsiguda, the place where the building is, and you have got the rooms, double bedroom, no, not bedroom, it's like a single room with double bed, a beautiful balcony, and you've got, like, we explored that. And just parallel to your rooms, you've got the classrooms where the actual training happens in the conference halls. So it's going to be happening. So I think as a teacher you will be participating in these training programs. Yes, Sajati sir, no, actually vocational education is a compulsory exam, right? So this is how the training is going to happen. The mandatory CPDRs is applicable for ICSE as well. This was a question since a long time, and then hence I'm addressing it multiple times. Now, curriculum development is the major activity of research and development team. So the syllabus is put on the website. I'll show you where it is put. It'll be just down over here, and the publishers out there can make their curriculum. In case if an NCRT book is actually at the standards of ICSE, uh, that could be used as well, it seems. So it completely depends on a school to decide on which book they want to take based on the syllabus that is prescribed. I think down the line there's going to be a lot of speculation, and sorry, there's a lot of speculation that ICC might come up with their books as well. Nothing official. I didn't hear anything in the conference as such. They just said that they're going to make the primer books for grade 9, 10 and 11. Sorry, 10 and 12 or 9 and 11, something like that. So that you get to see what exactly is the content. So that update will also happen in the month of March. So development of syllabi on upcoming subjects, development of resource materials, and you can see that from school to class 8, you've got the curriculum and the resource material. So ICSE is the 10th standard exam, so that's why they've put it over here, and ISE is the 12th standard. So under the research, you get all these resource materials, and there are further resource materials for understanding, basically for teacher training program. What is NEP 2020, competency based education? Just click on one of them, you'll get to see what exactly it is. So basically, it takes you to the place where there's a detailed explanation of NEP 2020. According to ICSE, they say that it's not, NEP is not something very new. It's like you press off a button and it started. No, it's not like that. It's an ongoing process. And Sangeeta Bhatia ma'am really very nicely mentioned that it's not something that's not as hyper as the way it is hyped. I don't know if I made that statement properly, but the point is it's already there. We've been doing that for a long time. So they mention about it, and following the government rules and regulations, they've got the complete thing. So I would request all the CBSE teachers as well to come here and look into what exactly ICSE has got over here. There is some good amount of research materials that have done extra. The Frank Antony Public School, Kolkata, is one of the oldest schools in the country, and that was the Anglo-Indian school that with which it got associated with initially. So this is with respect to the materials. Let me come to the syllabus now. I would like to show you the ICSE syllabus. The moment I click on regulations and syllabus, you can see that teachers 2020, 21, 22, 23. Look at this. 24, 25, they have got the plan for the next year exam as well. When you look into ICSE 2024, you will get to see subjects that are one by one listed out along with the syllabus. So it's like basically cover, copyright, contents, regulation, whatever you're looking at. This is actually a book. See, I'll show you that. So this is the cover page of that particular book. I think some of the teachers out there, if you're from ICC school, you know this, right? Yeah. And here in this case, when you click on a particular subject, say for example, let me click on geography. So you'll get to see the complete syllabus of geography. See, the complete syllabus of geography is just 8 pages. So within 8 pages, they have told exactly what are the learning outcomes, what are the topics to be covered. So this is the TOC basically. And based on this, a particular publisher has to make the book. So it's going to be quite a challenge for a teacher to compare two different books. It's like, is Selena good or Oswald good? How can I, judge them? It's going to quite a challenge, because with only syllabus, it's kind of difficult to gauge that. Well, there are various publications coming out right now, coming up with various solutions. Now the major point of showing this is, when you look into this list of subjects, you will not find artificial intelligence at all. You will find computer applications, which is there, but AI will not be there. So that means for 2024, that's which is happening right now, 2024 February, the exams are starting from 18th, I guess. There is no AI paper, but when we go to the 2025, there you'll be able to see that there's a major upgrade and a lot of new content has come into picture, and that's going to be uh, computer applications. You can see that over here. And there is another called as fashion designing, commercial, robotics, and AI as well. So when you look into robotics and AI, it is there for 2025. And you know what? You will not believe, this got uploaded over here nearly over a year back. That means ICSE had a vision of what is supposed to be the curriculum nearly 2 years in advance. So in that particular manner, all the publications get time to make the books, a very good quality books. In fact, even I'm planning to write a very good book on robotics and AI, considering my expertise. And let us see if that can be used for exam. Now, these subjects come under three categories: Group A, Group B, Group C. ICSE is more easy. Okay. Kind of, I can't deny that. Okay. So group A, group B are the compulsory subjects actually, and group C you can choose one subject among multiple subjects, and a total of 6 subject policy is applicable here as well. And I think you have got the additional skill subject choice as well. Honestly speaking, I could not really find a valid document to tell that a particular student is allowed to use 7 subjects or 9 subjects, as I was able to tell for CBSE. In ICSE, maybe I could not research a lot. I could not talk to many people. But to be very frank and honest and put it clear across, I'm not sure about the number of subjects that a particular student can actually take up for their 10th and 12th standard board exam. If you know that, please put it on the chat so that the other teachers can get benefited out of it. But the point is, this is the place where you get the complete syllabus. I'll repeat it, syllabus. Earlier, there used to be a column called as suggested publications, but now they've removed that because many players have come to the market and everybody's doing a very good job. So that's with respect to that. So these are the content from where you can actually just not about what's present in ICC. Even you can go through in a very simple manner and know what's present. Finally, the last point of ICSE, something which makes it very unique, is its approach towards the languages, especially English. Right from the beginning, it has been found that, and it's not a misconception, but people think that ICSE the English is really good, and they're not wrong, because ICC does not have Hindi medium, for your information, or any other medium for that matter. It's only English. And the depth of English that has gone into ICSE is way more than what CBSE has taken up. Well, CBSE has come up with multiple course books, literature, poems, and the grammar aspects as well. But here, the focus is heavily on English to a large extent, considering all the aspects of English. May it be drama, may it be art form of a language. I mean, art form of a language, the figures of speech is very rare, and not heavy importance is given in CBSE. I think most of you might agree with the fact that ICSE's English is stand apart. It's really good. So for that one reason, many people prefer to go with ICSE. But that's okay. I mean, English, the kind of exposure right now that the children have with the real world, and even the parents for that matter, it's a language and you can easily learn it. There are some YouTube videos where there's a comparative study where a CBC student talks in Hindi, and an ICC student talks in English. Okay, that's exaggeration. That doesn't happen. In both the cases, the students are really good. Finally, with respect to the content, once you are aware about whatever is the syllabus, then comes the most important part, which is called as the teacher training program on all these syllabus. So it's completely on the ICC board to conduct those teacher training programs, and based on that, you will be doing. Now, if there is a teacher who is having a friend who is another teacher from another board, try to compare your textbooks. You'll find that the difference between ICSE and CBSE is gradually reduced over the period of time. Hence, at the current juncture of 2024, in this particular time, it's like quite a fascinating thing because the skill subjects have come in both the cases. Any board you choose, but a renowned school is what matters. So any board you choose, the implementation is what matters. In fact, any school you choose or any board you choose, the teacher matters the most. So if a teacher is really interested in teaching English in ICSE, automatically people will say that ICSE English is amazing. No, it's not about the subject, it's about the teacher. Similarly, it's valid for CBSE as well. So it's not about the content right now, at least because the difference is comparatively very less, but it's about the teacher. I hope everybody got an idea. And sports is one section that became an independent body altogether in CISC, where there's inter-school competition, then region level competition, and then national level competition. And people participate in that. It's like around that 2,500 schools or 2,900 schools right now. They all participate together and they work on it. So they call that as conducted by School Games Federation of India, which is SGFI. And the students who are qualifying SGFI sports, they are taken to national level competitions which are conducted at central level. Correct? I hope you got the point, right? The teacher must know the subject in depth. That's it. So yeah, in ICC there are two separate subjects for English, English 1 and English 2. You're right. Again, there is a difference between literature and grammar aspect. I think teachers English 1 is the literature, and English 2 is the grammar, if I'm not wrong. Am I right? Acha, English 2 is the literature and English 1 is the grammar. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Okay, ulta, right, Manjuma? Got it. Got it. So the research was, I was going into the the cream part of ICSE so much that honestly I could not get into the subject details much. A little bit on maths, a little bit of science, and a lot on computer science because computer science is my favorite subject. So I was able to figure out that the difference is quite less, not that much. So that's it. That's pretty much about ICSE teachers, and you would have got some clarity about what exactly this board is all about. In case if you had already known all these factors, please put it on the reflection form and say that this is quite common. Come up with pointers like करके you start mentioning the details of what exactly you would like to know so that for my IGCSE and IB, I'll prepare accordingly and launch this. Next week, Sunday, we'll be getting into the details of holistic progress card. And let me just check out on, yeah, these are some numbers. 2,900 schools, so 3.5 lakh students, 130 subjects across the grade 9 to 12, 29 states and union territories across 5 countries. That's it. And syllabus, we just know saw that. So I'm stopping the screen share. That brings me to the end of the session, teachers. We will be talking about holistic progress card in the next session because an amazing event happened by CBSE and NCRT, and I would like to decode that in 1 hour. Let's see about that. We'll also have a session on SQOF, School Quality Assurance and Assessment Framework. You should really know about as a teacher, probably in the following Sunday. And there are multiple topics coming into picture. Based on that, let's take it up. And right now, reflection form. Team members, super teacher team members, are you there? I hope I don't, they are there today, probably busy with calls. Let me share the reflection form myself. I'll go over here and teacher's reflection form is coming on the chat right away. Take it up. Yes, Pooja, ma'am. So thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. Just a brief information on this particular board today. We will touch on other topics as well on further Sundays. I would request everyone with one important point that I read in a very good book. Reading and learning actually makes us the warehouse of facts. And these facts become of a certain importance when it is put to use using a thought process. So I would request everyone to think, retrospect, introspect, whatever you want, based on all these sessions that you are attending. Very important from the perspective of decision making. So let us not be just the warehouses of knowledge consumptions or knowledge house. Let us be the spot for thought process. If you can come up to some decisions, if you can logically come up with some kind of an idea based on these workshops, it's going to be heavily useful. And in order to retain information of whatever we are speaking, it's my humble request to speak to people, gossip about it, write about it in some textbook or notebook. And in case right now we have got social media as well, you can put it over there as well. But do that. So that's it from my side. Great interacting with one and all. Happy Republic Day as well, and Jai Hind. That's great. Thank you so much, Malvika ma'am. Yes, exactly. For the teachers who are from CBSE would have known quite a lot of information about ICSE. And yeah, that's one good point of exposure. That's right. My internet is getting stuck today. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, Arpita ma'am. Thank you, Shubhika ma'am. Thank you so much. If there is any query, questions, you can put it on the chat, or the reflection form is coming on the chat anyways. Thank you, Apurva ma'am. Good to see you. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. Thank you, Fiona ma'am. Thank you, Mala ma'am. Thank you. Rudra ma'am, we will have a separate session on IGCSE. Yeah, for sure. Deepa ma'am, that's a good question. The word public actually over the period of time, changed its meaning multiple times. It's like initially public means something that's for the people. That's how it was considered, and it was like Indian public schools. Over the period of time, public and private as a two different terminology came into picture, and public was treated as if it's a government body or it's government recognized body and things like that. There's no place anywhere mentioned as such ki public is a wrong usage for a private school. You can still name your school as public school, still being private, something like that. So there's no, you know, uh, direct differentiation as such. Well, that's my outlook as of now. If there is any change in that, I think I need to research on that. Ruchika ma'am, these sessions for ICSE schools for mandatory CPDRs, the certification, your principal is the right person to judge on that. As of now, I'm kind of doubtful. I'm not able to confidently tell as I tell for CBSE. Asmatullah Sheikh, that's what I'm not sure about it. If CBSE said that public is not supposed to be used, then maybe that's a true information. Yeah. Okay, Nisha ma'am, I'll do that. There are certain things because of which I delay initially for 5 minutes, but okay, done. Thank you, Himlata ma'am. Rinki ma'am, yes, that's a good question. We will talk about IB board in detail, and there we will discuss about this. And there'll be a session where we will talk about the difference between all these boards and which is supposed to be prioritized. We'll talk about that as well. Thank you, Sashwati ma'am. Rashmi ma'am, thank you so much for suggesting. But Super Sunday workshop, we will not be able to, get into one subject in specific. Probably we will have to plan a separate session on that. But this particular platform is supposed to be common for all the educators out there, and that's the reason I really don't get into single subject. Yeah, I am handicapped a little bit on that to decide on that. Thank you, Sajati sir. No problem, Nisha ma'am. That's completely fine. Thank you, Ananta ma'am. You were very helpful today. Thank you so much. Yes, Mamta ma'am, there's going to be a session on slow learners for sure. Thank you, Dilip sir. Oh, Rupa ma'am, thank you so much. Good. Sangeet ma'am, please message me. You have my number on the chat. Thank you, Kiran ma'am. Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Thank you, Ankita ma'am. Daughter to send Germany for engineering. Which board is preferable? It also depends on what board she has been all these days, Banu ma'am, because sudden change on the board is also kind of not recommended. Well, that's an opinion that I'm placing over here. Let's talk over a call in case if it's possible, Banu ma'am. If she has been in ICSE, then let her continue on that because when we talk about IB, the approach is completely different. It's totally a different ball game. So yeah, they work on worksheets. It's like the thought process itself is completely different. Shreen ma'am, CPD. So according to the rules of the NAP 2020, a teacher should complete 50 hours of training program in one academic year. So it's like after March, you need to start again training yourself on 50 hours. So it's like that. Every year, 50 hours you need to complete. 25 hours should be by government bodies like CBSE or Diksha and Swayam Portal, NCRT, CIET, all these places. Remaining 25 hours could be by private bodies. It's like your principal is conducting or I am conducting a training. So these certificates that you're getting can be considered for your mandatory CPDRs. A certificate approved for a CPDR is completely dependent on a school principal, right? Choose for career after 10th standard. Mala ma'am, yes, we will try that. So career counseling is altogether a nice topic, and I would like to have a renowned career counselor coming to the session rather than conducting it. Where only I am speaking. I would prefer to have somebody whom I'm interviewing. That will be better, right? So I'm looking forward for that. Yes. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. Great. Any other questions if you have, you can put it on the chat or else we can close the day. Thank you, Alu ma'am. Thank you, Shreen ma'am. Thank you, Sulugna ma'am. I guess no questions. Let's close. I'll see you the next Sunday with holistic progress card. Bye, everyone. Okay. Sukhdira ma'am, thank you so much. Credits to parents. Yeah. Thank you. Seema ma'am, if you have not got the certificate, please mail it to sushmita@superteacher.in or contact me, ma'am. You have my number, I think. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.